Hello, my name is Simon Cullen and I'm the co-founder of Vidatum. So my background is from education software. I started in the 90s working for an Irish company in and around student information systems. I then moved on to work in a consultancy with Deloitte, and out of Deloitte I met some people and we co-founded Vidatum. Strictly speaking, I wasn't one of the co-founders, but I joined really shortly after the business was opened, and I describe myself as a co-founder because the current iteration of the business focused around the research. I was very much a part of founding that direction of the business. Yeah, so this is probably split into two parts. So originally we started the business with a focus on Oracle infrastructure and Oracle development. The development of the research element came about from a project that we worked on with an Irish university. That was originally a project, but we saw the potential for it to be licensed and to be developed further as a product. And so we pivoted to do just that in the long run. Yeah, I would say my degree was a very big part of what I do. It was a science degree focusing on computers, and software development, which is where I started my career. More recently, I have availed a lot of the ongoing training services provided by various bodies in Ireland, such as Enterprise Ireland. So they've been really useful with us for very specific skills, so things like tender writing, marketing for the part of the marketing that I'm involved in, and then financing and scaling of the business. Yeah, this is, I suppose, a big part of what we do here in Vidatum. To achieve this, we have a lot of engagements within the industry, so with our clients, with potential clients, with industry bodies, and we do a lot of research into the area for each of our iterations of our software as well. All of this interaction with the industry and this research we channel into the changes to the software from version to version. I suppose the initial challenge is to get it to a point where it's at a critical size so that you can start investing in the business. And once you have it at that size, things like getting the right people as the business grows, having finance in place, and competing and winning in a very, very competitive marketplace are some of the challenges that we have faced up until now. For me, probably one of the biggest challenges is developing skills in multiple areas. Because I am one of the co-founders and I necessarily do wear different hats for different tasks within the business, I am not necessarily skilled in all of those tasks at the beginning. So the strategies I've used has been to avail of as much training as possible while I'm the person tasked with the work in the business, and to hire people who have those specific talents as soon as it becomes feasible to do so. I mean, the glib answer to that would be that we handle it because we have to. This is the market that we're in, this is our software product. Some of the practical things that we do to help manage this complexity is to develop the system in a way where there's as much commonality across all of the functional parts of the system. So we have this concept of a foundation module, and we try to put as much of the software which is common to all of the other modules into that. So that allows us to have a level of reusability within the system, which minimizes the complexity. We don't see ourselves as being particularly unique in this challenge. We feel that a lot of other businesses, and in particular software businesses, face this similar challenge. So we're not unique in this respect at all. This goes back to something that I mentioned a little earlier, and it's really about engagement with the industry. So that includes clients, potential clients, experts within the industry, and different bodies such as funding bodies and bodies national bodies which require reporting and so on. We also feed into this from our own stakeholders within the company itself. So feedback from our support, feedback from our development. And lastly then we do research into new tools and trends. So for example, we're looking at things like open source at the moment. For us, one of our most notable successes that we're proud of would be our interaction with large institutions, which necessarily on their side requires a lot of trust in a company like ourselves, both in our software and in our business processes. We're also very proud to see that our software is a critical component in managing research in these large institutions as well. Lastly, we have a lot of pride in the fact that we've been able to grow from Ireland into other markets such as the UK, mainland Europe and Australia. And for us, this has been a real source of pride in terms of being able to bring our products from a small market to a larger and more diverse market worldwide. I think having a vision for what you're trying to do has got to be one of the most important things that you can have in terms of your strategies for going forward. Once you have decided on the strategy or the vision, communicating this to your clients and staff is critical as well. Just in terms of that, it's easy to get distracted from your core vision. And so one of the things that we really try to do here is to stick with what we are trying to do ourselves and not be too distracted by opportunities which are similar, but which will pull us away from our central vision of what we're trying to do. I have a very multifaceted role, as mentioned, and that requires continual learning on my part. So I find that really challenging and really interesting. It keeps me interested. The multiple roles in the business. So I know, for example, that one day I might be concentrating on one part of the business, and another day there might be other parts that are require my attention. So that level of variety of work is very interesting to me as well. And also, those various tasks often bring you outside your comfort zone. So that keeps you very challenged in the long run, and I think it's good for you in terms of your interest in something, but also in your continual development. Yeah, I'll go back to my last question on that, or on my last response on that, which is the variety of the role is very interesting to me and keeps me on my toes on a daily basis. In the longer term, watching the business grow and develop has been a great joy to watch. But also I accept that on a day-to-day basis, I'm not always going to be motivated to do the specific task in front of me. So that's something that I suppose a lot of people will recognize in their daily lives. And then the last thing I'd say is that it's good to have other interests outside the business. So I'm very much interested in the business while I'm here, but I have other interests, and I'm very much able to step back from it, say on the weekends and in the evenings and so on. In our business, by definition, we have a diverse team. We're operating in a number of countries. We have offices in a number of countries. And that brings with it different cultures and different points of view and so on. We're also very lucky in that we have many of the staff that have been working with us for a long time. So they have a deep understanding of what we're trying to do, of our vision, of our software and so on. And that really allows them to provide a high level of service to our clients and to give us, as the managers, some great feedback. And we're also, with that level of say satisfaction with people working for us, we've found it easier in the recent past to attract quality talent and to retain that new talent as well. I would probably not call out a specific client. I don't think that any one client has been specifically better than another client. We have challenges with all our clients, and we have really good positive interactions with our clients as well. What we do like to do is to take their perspective. So, for example, we do that to feed into our own thinking, which in turn we think impacts the business. So it's not a specific one event that happens, but it's our way with interacting with clients that helps us to improve our business and to change the way we work. I've been working in this industry for quite a while now, so it's hard to say specifically how it compares with other industries. But I would say that some of the characteristics of the industry are things like professionalism. So they take their work and their role in the research life cycle, the research process, very seriously. I would also say that it's an industry where there's a lot of willingness to exchange ideas. And that includes engaging with suppliers, and like I've mentioned in a couple of my other responses, engaging with other institutions and universities that aren't necessarily clients, but who are very willing to interact with you, to give you their experiences and what they're looking for from software like our own. We use that information to have continual change, which we think is probably also a feature of the particular industry that we're in as well. My own experience has been it is very useful to have experience in the type of industry that you want to get started in. So you've mentioned software. My background is software, so I think there's an advantage in that. In general, just regardless of the type of business that one would be looking to start, I think it's very much around trying to be as dynamic as possible in the beginning, getting help from wherever you can, and not being afraid to ask anybody questions, not being able to ask for help from anyone. And I think one thing that we've noticed is that competition is fierce, and I would suspect that this is the case in most industries. So I think there's a requirement to evolve your business quickly and to try and differentiate yourself as quickly as possible as well. Yeah, in my own case, I think it was very important to have a technical background. I think I was also very lucky in that, as well as being technical, I had an understanding of the industry that I was starting a business in as well. So I had a strong understanding of the third level education sector through my previous roles. So I think that was a big part of being able to start a successful business. I think on top of that, you have to recognize where you have weaknesses in terms of your own skills, your own understandings and so on. And you need to address those depending on the stage of the life cycle of your business, whether you can hire somebody to address that particular weakness, or whether you need to take training to address the weakness yourself, so that you can continue to grow with the business. What we've seen over the last few years is that there's a strong emphasis on professionalism within the industry that we're in. So there is an increased willingness for people who work in the industry to get recognition for their skills. So things like certificates and other qualifications. I think that there is also a better understanding of the process of managing research on an industry basis, and we see that in the context of seeing more similarities between the way our clients are now managing their research process and the concept of best practice is definitely something that is being discussed and which is being improved on through discussions between the different institutions that are involved in the sector. Yeah, obviously growth is a big thing that we're very excited about. It's great to watch something that you've started grow into something bigger and to change into something different. I think being involved in an industry where innovation is such a key part of the industry in the first place, so the whole industry itself is about managing research and innovation. And I think just from a sort of a personal perspective, it's great having customers in new jurisdictions, meeting people from those jurisdictions, and then having co-workers in those jurisdictions as well. It's a good, fun, and interesting part of of our future. Yeah, so Vidatum recently acquired 2 new customers in Australia. We acquired them without any specific presence in the jurisdiction. So we wanted to use the ARMS conference to formally introduce ourselves to the research industry in Australia. So we took that opportunity. We also wanted to take the opportunity to get a much broader understanding of the market itself. So we made a lot of contacts when we were down there. Some of them are in the context of sales contacts or potential future clients, but a lot of them were also in the context of people that we could talk to in terms of trying to understand and develop our product for that market specifically. Yeah, it was largely positive. There are some areas which we understand that we will need more understanding of the market. The very positive feedback that we got was in reaction to our projects module, specifically the budget builder. That seemed to have a very, the work that we've done with our clients down in Australia seemed to have been received very positively. And also the ethics module. So there's a lot of specifics in and around ethics which are specific to the Australian market. And we have addressed those with our clients, and the feedback we got on the work that we did in that area was very positive. Other areas, such as one of the modules we have is a timesheets module. That does not seem to be as a higher priority down there, and so that's interesting for us to learn about as well. Yeah, I think fortunately there's a lot of crossover between the clients outside Australia and our Australian clients. That said, there was a lot of work that went into localizing the budget builder functionality of the system, localizing the ethics submissions, and then localizing the reports for the specific reporting requirements of both the clients, but also of the national reporting requirements that are also very important to our clients. We're not finished in that respect. We're doing a lot of research at the moment to understand what else we need to do for the Australian market, which we plan on implementing in upcoming versions of the system. We have a unique value proposition which applies to the Australian research landscape as well as others, and that would very much be around our ability to match requirements with specific clients' own requirements. So that's the system is designed to be very configurable, and we use that configurability to really match, or to allow our clients to match their processes to what the system needs to be able to do. We see one of our strengths also in the area of bibliometric data. So our ability to work with various sources of bibliometric data, and that's an area that we're really focusing on for the next version as well, to increase that scope of bibliometric data that we work with and report on. And then I think lastly is our commitment to improving our data set to add more value to our clients in the upcoming versions will be very tightly associated with our ability to work with various sources of bibliometric data. I'll go back to our ability to match our system to the specific requirements of our clients. These can differ between jurisdictions, but they can also differ within the same jurisdiction as well. And I think that ability to be able to configure this system to the specific requirements of our clients is a real strength of ours. Our approach is global, but we very much are working with people in the Australian market to ensure that the input, or that there's significant input into the overall development of the system, which is Australian specific, or which may be Australian and globally relevant as well. So to do that, we're speaking with other universities, other bodies such as funding bodies and so on, and sector specialists within Australia, and we're factoring in their responses into our development roadmap. In terms of the local support and so on, we have a support in the local time zone. They've been working with us now for a number of years, and they have a deep knowledge of the local requirements and the local setup of our system, and we will be expanding that as we expand our footprint into the Australian market.